Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back for another video. Today I wanted to talk about just doing a discussion video regarding The Walking Dead, particularly Dead City, and one character in particular, Croat. I wanted to talk about Croat and his past and his what seems to be a rather unhealthy obsession with Negan and just the things I believe he's going to do this next season, and kind of reflecting on his past as a savior, and just to talk about just general stuff about the character. But anyways, before we get into that, if you enjoy this type of content, you enjoy Walking Dead, please leave a like, leave a comment, of course, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. But jumping into this video, talking about Croat, as we know, he was introduced in the first season of Dead City, and his past was quickly revealed about who he was, what type of person he was, and what led up to him being basically dismissed from the Saviors, sent into exile, where we find out who this guy was back in the heyday of the Saviors, before any of the all-out war arc, before coming in contact with Rick and our other survivors. We get kind of a breakdown of who he was, what he did as far as getting him kicked out of the Saviors, and how Negan attempted to kill him to deal with him for what he did. But Croat, as we know, he was a savior from back in the day. He is one of the original, I guess, if you could say. And in becoming a savior, he developed a really strange kind of obsession or admiration for Negan and what he was doing, what he was trying to accomplish, and just really was in awe of him in general. And he thought he was doing things to please him, and it was just really weird, this relationship that he wanted to have with Negan being who he was and just kind of being weirded out by him. We get the history of this character where he was a savior, he was someone that got information out of people, and he crossed a line with Negan because we got that flashback in season 1 where we got the return of Simon, who we all know has since been killed by Negan for disobeying him and trying to rise up against him. But we get this flashback where Simon comes to Negan about how Croat has passed a line. He's crossed a line as far as what they do to get information, the tactics of war, or bringing in survivors, or going after other communities that may not want to be a part of this, don't want to be under his thumb. We get the revelation that Croat was a particularly sadistic bastard who not only tortured a kid, but killed a kid to get information because they had this sneaking suspicion that they were a spy, I think, for the kingdom. Negan was at this point where he didn't want to torture this kid because that was one of his rules. No kids and no R-wording as far as women. That was just like his two big rules for his community that he had built. We don't go after women and we don't go after kids. And Croat crossed that line. He tortured this kid for information and ultimately ended up killing him or her, I can't remember. But this is what kind of sets Negan off the edge, as anyone would that had to deal with someone that did something pretty heinous. And so naturally he goes on to kill him, and then misses this opportunity and only takes off his ear. And as we get into Croat in present day, we learn that even though Negan did what he did, and Croat just really never got over this weird fascination that he had with Negan, he still idolizes him to this day. And this whole purpose behind Negan even being brought into this situation was because Croat sold it to Dama that he was someone that could lead and he could bring all these gangs of New York together, and he just had this high praise for him. And the whole plan was to bring Negan in to take part in this, to be put back in this position of power. And we learn just how deep this obsession really goes because, as I mentioned, after everything that Negan did, Croat is just willing to forgive and forget. And going as far as kidnapping a child, because we learned that he has no limits. He doesn't care about kids. He's willing to cross lines and just do things that most people wouldn't. And so in doing this, we learned of the time that Negan let Croat hold Lucille for the first time during one of their raids, trying to put a community into its place and make an example of someone. He talks about how he took a swing at someone and missed, and just how he just has never forgotten that. He never forgot the way that he did things, and this is why he wants to bring him into the fold with the Barazzi. And so we just keep learning all these new things and just seeing how deep the rabbit hole really goes as far as his obsession with Negan. And they ultimately get their way where they release Herschel, and Negan comes in there and he is brought into the fold. And from what we've seen in the teaser trailer for next season, I think it's going to get even kind of worse, where we see that Negan has a new Lucille, and I've mentioned this in previous videos. I 100% believe that this is a gift from Croat because he wants Negan to be that guy again. And I really think Negan's going to kind of resist, because we got the scene where we see Negan throwing that new Lucille and just kind of rejecting that idea of, or rejecting being that guy again. And I think Croat is going to dig his heels in and kind of probably use things against him and just do anything he can to manipulate the situation and manipulate Negan to be that guy again. And so I'm really, really excited to see, what other things are going to be revealed. Are they going to do more flashbacks, or are they kind of done with that and they've made that establishment as far as establishing who Croat was in the past and who he is now and his connection to Negan? So I'm really excited to see what they do with that, if they're going to do anything different, if we're going to see any more saviors from back in the day. Is there some out there that's managed to escape after the all-out war? Are there some that are going to find their way back in Negan? Are we going to see Dwight? Is he going to make his way back? I doubt it, because there's not been any talk about it, but it could very well be some sort of surprise that awaits us, because we did get leaked photos there from sets where they had totes that said Fear the Walking Dead props. So I don't know what that could really mean, if anything at all, but I'm really excited to see what happens, because we are going to get 2 additional episodes this season. So I'm really excited to see just how it all plays out. If any more history is going to be revealed as far as Croat and Negan, or just any more flashbacks with any living or deceased savior characters, or maybe even classic Walking Dead characters. But anyways, that's just a quick little discussion video, kind of dissecting a little bit Croat's intentions, his history, and just who he is as a person, and his weird obsession with Negan. And I'm excited to see what they do with it. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed Walking Dead content just like this, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. It would mean the world to me. So until next time, take care. Bye.